President's opposition, Mark, to mail-in balloting in particular is intriguing to some folks because, as we've learned in the last couple of days, he just voted himself through the mail.
Right. Yeah. So the president has historically used mail balloting quite a bit. And I think he did. So, this is what the way President Trump governs, in the sense that he was making the SAVE Act and lumping it together. That was where we were on the weekend when he rejected the bipartisan agreement. By Tuesday, they seem to have moved him off that a little bit and have been able to separate it. But the frustrating part, I think, is at the end of the day, there's no way, shape, or form the SAVE Act is ever going to pass, because for the SAVE Act to pass, you have to break the filibuster. Republicans are not going to get rid of the filibuster. There's enough Republican support to retain it. At the same time, there's no way Democrats are going to actually vote for the SAVE Act, especially given the requirements, say you have a birth certificate, a marriage license, and other identification if you move, for instance. Right. So you have to prove citizenship. But one requirement of the SAVE Act is, let's say you received your driver's license long ago, but then you move, you would have to provide all of that documentation again. And so if you don't have a copy of your birth certificate, or if you were married and changed your last name, you don't have a copy of your marriage license, then you would not be able to register to vote. And those are things that the Democrats simply are not going to ever support.
And more than that, Brandon, I mean, that's something that would affect millions of Americans.
It would, and it makes it really complicated to be able to register or re-register to vote. The Hail Mary here is that the Senate's considering doing a reconciliation bill, which is basically a fancy legislative way of having a simple majority be able to pass a bill. In this case, it's supposed to be reconciliation through a kind of budget process where they align the funding mechanism with the budget agreement. And so they could do that for financial issues, but lumping the SAVE Act into that could be problematic. They're still awaiting word from the parliamentarian in the Senate who could reject that and say, not a budget issue, it's not part of the package, it can't be included in this. So there's still some pieces moving on this, but unless they get the president's buy-in, it's going to be really hard for them to be able to move forward.